Hey everybody, thanks so much for popping in on my YouTube channel to check out my latest December stories video. Probably towards the end of November, the beginning of December, I'm not exactly sure when, but I shared a video, a walkthrough of this particular Canva file that I had started to kind of set myself up for storytelling success during the month of December. I really had zero expectations for how much I was going to be working in it, what I was actually going to get accomplished. And I am so surprised and so thrilled at the incredible progress I have made. Typically, I do not document in the crafty sense during the month of December. I just live my life. I take photos. I keep a Google Doc file that has all of my stories in it. And I make sketches when I feel inspired, or I think about page layouts based on stories that I want to tell and have them appear in my album. And I really just kind of enjoy the month. And so it was really fun to be able to do all of that still. And work on my album. So I'm hoping that this is not super long. I just kind of want to give you a run through of what a couple things I did here and how I really feel like doing something that is the same throughout helped me get the stories in here. And so I'll bring that up as I go along. So let's just start with the first page. Okay, so keep in mind that I do not print from home. I'm going to be printing with Persnickety Prints. I'm going to kind of dismantle this page a little bit whenever I go to print it, December to remember and 2024 coming off. And then this page is going to get printed without those two items. I will add those back on as physical items. I've got this foiled on some vellum. This is going to be the actual word phrase strip. So I like to do a hybrid page style, and so the majority of my page will be printed, and then I will be adding some physical embellishments, whether that's foiled vellum or word phrase strips or some of the embellishments from the kit. I'll try to point those out as I go along. This is very much a work in progress page. This would be the page that I would consider to be my reason why, but I'm not approaching it that way. I'm doing like a looking back on how my month actually turned out, how I feel about it, what happened, that type of thing. I have been doing that for a couple of years now, and I really like the looking back approach instead of the reason why, because my reason why is pretty much always the same. I want to document our life, what's happening right now, so that I may go back and remember and relive the memories and the stories and the moments of joy. It's not any particular, I want to do anything different during the month. That's my reason for documenting. So I tried to do a different approach and do a looking back, which I've been really liking so far. So these couple items are going to get either printed or I will add them physically. I just need to measure the vellum pieces because that's what these are. These two trays are from the main kit and the vellum little packet. I need to measure them and see if they're actually this size or if it would be better for me to print those two trees on the page, add a phrase strip once it comes from the printer, and add my gold star after the fact. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to put up here. I had a family photo, but it really didn't, the feel of it just didn't jive with the page. So anyway, still work in progress. This page right here and the following page represents an outside the page protector, like fold up and fold out. So I kind of have this was my idea. I sketched it down one day while I was at the office. I am going to use the paper from the main kit, the physical paper. I'm going to add it into my album using a page attacher. So I'm going to shorten the width a little bit because I don't need to actually punch the holes into the paper since I'll be flipping it up, and that's kind of problematic. This is the inside of what it's going to look like. This is going to be the base. This is going to be the underneath portion of its beginning to look a lot like Christmas paper. I have this set up to scale in a different Canva file that I will be printing from that, but I like to put it in the overall Canva document so that I can see what I have planned and how the album is going to flow. So the back of this page is going to be a fold out to the side. And typically I like to do a calendar view of the entire month. And I really just wasn't feeling that this time around. I wasn't being inspired by the calendar view, so I still wanted to do my like highlights from the month. So that's what I'm going to use this page for. The Mary panel on the left here is going to fold out to the left and reveal 6 more squares with photos underneath it, and then 6 more squares of photos behind it, like on the back side of it. It's going to have probably like a little tab right here, and I'll probably do some circle, embellishment, tag. I don't have a plan for it yet, but there will be something right here on the outside of this Mary. I'm going to use the paper from the main kit so that I have the beautiful gold foil, and everything else though is going to be printed and kind of assembled together. So this is just a visual. I haven't placed my photos in it yet, and I just like to see what it's going to look like, vibing with everything else. So this is also kind of a mock-up of a page. I was really inspired by Jill's page that she did right here. It's on the Allie Edwards blog. I just took a screenshot of one of the images and dropped it in here as inspiration, so I remind myself. Since I'm working in a 10 by 8 album, I want to, where the holes are, I'm going to have this big photo outside the page protector, so it's going to get holes punched in it. And then the transparency with the bunting or banner or whatever this is called, the garland with the stars, is going to attach to the underside of the photograph. I'm going to attach the Deck the Halls on the front just like she has, so it's a fold up and it's got photos and journaling below it. So this is going to be printed separately. This I already have from the main kit. So parts and pieces are going to be printed for this page, and I'll assemble them together. So it's not really shown digitally how it's actually going to look. These are the underneath 4x6 pieces. So this is going to be on the underside of Deck the Halls, like on the upper portion. I still need to drop in my story about what actually went into decorating the office. And then here's a photo that you're going to see. And then when you flip over the page, on the back side of this, attached to the other side of the transparency, is going to be this photograph. And then on the back side of this big wreath photo with the holes punched in it is going to be this Starbucks cup photo. I will probably add some word phrase or little details. I don't know if they're going to be word phrase style, just to add that this was my first drink of the season, like, you know, my first seasonal drink, I should say. I tried a new drink this year, and I do want to add just a tiniest bit of details about that. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet. Maybe I'll just write it right here on the photo in white. Maybe it will be on strips. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so this right here is also a placeholder to let me know that, like, hey, next step on my album is going to be this half circle. I did not purchase this kit or this packet, this set from the shop item. I'm just going to print everything digitally and cut it all out, and it's totally fine with me. I did cover up the negative space right here, and I am going to cover up the holes so that whenever I print it, it will be all solid red with just the moments and memories in white. I will probably add some type of embellishment here in the center, or I won't. I don't know. We'll see. This right here is going to be the story of this Christmas tree photo right here. And then on the back side of that is going to be this photo of my son. So none of these half circle inserts are to scale in this particular file because these print outside the page protector. They're a little bit taller than what I have right here, and they are in a separate file that is sized appropriately. Okay, so then we have a 10 by 8 page. I just did a solid page, flip it over. I did a lot of single photo pages that I don't have any plans of adding anything to. I'm not going to add a big embellishment. I'm not going to add any word strips. I'm not going to add any words. I just like it the way that it is. Big full page photo. This is going to be a divided page protector with the 4x4s and 4x6s. As you can see, I still have to finalize this card right here with some more of the story, figure out what I'm going to do right here, whether it's a physical embellishment or digital design. And down here, I have a spot where I am going to add the story about a couple of the new ornaments that I added to the Christmas tree this year and what my idea was for that. Right here is an insert. It is roughly, let's see, 5 inches wide by however tall, so 8.125. so that it's going to be outside the page protector. I'm not sure if I'm going to hole punch right here. I probably won't. I'll probably use a page attacher so I don't have to hole punch my photo, but it is going to be kind of a little booklet insert among itself. So this is the front. There's going to be a tab. When you turn it over, you're going to see this on the left-hand side and this on the right-hand side. And then whenever you flip this one over, you are going to see this right here. Now, I think that what I'd like to do is, this is also going to go right in front of this full page photo. Again, I'm not going to add anything to it. I'm just going to leave it like it is. There is a 3x8 transparency card that looks like this. I have the digital file, so I just dropped this in here to visually remind myself what I want to do. I believe I'm going to attach this between this photo and this photo. So it will extend out and overlay down around this portion of the photo of my daughter putting the star on the tree. I don't really know how that's going to work out, but that's my idea. Okay, still working on some things. I drop in placeholders for text so that I can just pop in here whenever I feel inspired to write the story and add it in. Okay, so this is still a work in progress page. You may have noticed that my page numbers have names, I guess. I do like to go in and add a name to my pages so that whenever the file is exported as a JPEG or as a PDF for, reviewing, it actually has a name on it. And I add the letter L to the end or R to the end, depending on if it is the left-hand side of the album or the right-hand side of the album. It also really helps me understand what I'm looking at when there's so many pages in this document. So this side is going to be a full page 10x8 page protector, and then it's going to be facing one of those 4x4, 4x6s. I like to leave myself notes as to what I plan on doing because I don't always remember what my plan was. So what I plan on doing is just printing this section separately, and then I'm going to cut out around the red and the green, and I'm going to place those labels on top of a vellum that has gold stars on it, and then I'm going to stick that into the 4x6 spot. I'm not going to use this gold label at all. Okay, so here we go. So one of the things I want to talk about is one of the ways I make this easy for myself and I don't have to rethink the wheel. There are 3 factors for me, 3 items that are important to include in any memory keeping album. 1 is the photos, 2 is the story, and 3 are some creative, fun elements, whether that's pattern paper or embellishments. The album is valuable to me without the embellishments or the pretty paper or any of that. The photos and the stories can stand alone. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this. But I really like the fun papers and fun embellishments. So with that said, I also don't want to recreate the wheel every time I come across a page, especially because this is an album that has a beginning and an end. And so I really like to have a cohesive look throughout the entire album. So you'll see this 4x6 card repeated throughout the album. I used the mixed alpha stamp set, the digital version, of course, to create my titles. I used either this pattern paper or I think it's the washi tape as like a little header pattern paper extra. I use a gold line as a section divider. Depending on how big this is whenever it prints out, I might add like a gold star right here in the center, or maybe like a word phrase strip right over on top of a portion of the gold strip. That just really depends on how I'm feeling and what inspires me when I have the printed piece in my hand. And then I always have a little text spot. So now that you know that this is one of my repeated items throughout the entire album, you'll see it pop up a lot, or a variation of this. So it's one of the ways I'm taking the creativity overload out of, it's like a decision fatigue. I don't have to make that decision. This is what my 4x6 cards look like when they have text on them. Okay, so this is a 10x8 page. I'm still working on the story. My dog was very, very naughty this year, and yeah, so still working on that. All right, so 10x8. as you can see, another 4x6, 4x4. I plan on listing the items that my children got in their advent calendars this year right here. It's just going to be super basic text list. I might put at the very top their favorites with like a little star next to them, and then just the regular after it. I thought about taking a photo, but that's really a lot of work. So I'm going to nix that idea. I actually took 0 photos of my children opening their advent calendars over the course of December. And that's okay by me because, yeah, I'm going to talk about the experience right here. All right, so this page I haven't done anything with, obviously, but that's gonna be all about their wish lists. This is a page where I have a story, but I do not have any photos. So this right here is encompassing the story that my daughter wrote at school, and then a couple details about the experience she and I have after school each day. So that kind of page is all about her. And I tried a couple different photography techniques. There's a couple flat lays in here. And this is one of some wrapping paper. And as you can see, the tags that I create for our gift wrap are a little bit out of focus here, a little bit funky, blurry. I'm not sure. They're not perfect, and I'm okay with that. I'm gonna let it go. So, but this page is pretty much ready. This page is a weird mock-up page of what I plan to do in an outside the page protector kind of like pocket style. I'm going to cut a piece of paper that's going to be roughly this size, so some holes punched here. I'm going to use the photo as a pocket, and I have this image right here of a phone and a screenshot of what I was listening to while I was doing wrap. This right here is going to be a vellum overlay that's going to go on top of the phone image. I'm going to tie it at the top with some ribbon and kind of maybe cut the corners to make it look like a tag, and it's going to go inside of that photo pocket. So I wrote myself some notes, and I plan on printing all of these things separately, cutting them and assembling them after the fact. This is going to be the back side of that right here. I left a big gap right here so that I could add a physical gold star right there, or maybe a different color star, I'm not sure, but it's the gold glitter stars that I really like. There's extra space right here for the holes to be punched, just like I left extra space up here for the holes to be punched. So if you're punching holes in your paper, make sure that you are leaving some space in your design so that your holes don't end up where you don't want them. Okay, 4x6, 4x4 pocket page protector in here. I left extra space here at the top because I plan on adding a gold star. This section of the page, plus the white, is actually going to be printed separately. I'm going to print it on something that can run through my Mink machine, and then I will Mink this entire piece right here, all fussy cut around the scallops, and I will add it to the physical striped paper from the kit so that I have the beautiful gold foil. But this is just a mock-up of what it's going to look like in the pocket. I still have work to do on this page, but I have some stuff there. I have my story, or at least some parts of my story. And this is a also a insert that I'm going to create. This is going to be some of the actual physical paper from the kit that I'll be cutting down. This section right here, I'm going to print and run through my Mink machine. I don't know if I'm going to print these pieces separately and hand cut them out. I think they're smaller than what the vellum pieces are in the main kit, so I don't think I actually have trees that are this size. So I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do, but this whole thing right here will go on top of this. And when you open this, because this is also going to be like another little booklet, it's going to be the right hand side. There's going to be some holes right here. You're going to see this on the inside back of this. So it'll be the left hand side, and the right side is going to be the story, which clearly I haven't added yet, but there's going to be a story about this little trip to a couple little farm stand tours that we went on. The back side of this is going to be the first photo of the next story of when we went to Target to do some Toys for Tots shopping and a couple other gifty shopping things. This is a back side of a 6x8 page. I need to create a title for this. I'm not quite sure. I was going to use the Make Some Merry. I don't know. But my title and my text is going to go right here for this story. And on the back side of it is going to be a full page 6x8 photo right here. You can see that I have made a note to myself. I love making notes. They're super helpful. They really help me stick with my original plan, and I don't feel lost by the time I get my photos, you know, because it's going to be a week at least from the time that I place my photo order to when I actually receive them, and who knows when I'm actually going to make time to put this all together. So the notes are really helpful for me to know what my plan was. I don't find myself floundering around. This is going to be just an outside the page protector insert where I did a small story right here. This is just a placeholder. I'm going to use the Starbucks cup from the advent calendar, and I'm going to adhere it right there. I don't know if I'm going to put some holes in this and attach it into the album that way, or if I'm going to use a page attacher. I'm not sure. Again, you're going to see there's a lot of space right here so that I can add a circle, I can add a heart, I can add a star, I can add something right here. I can leave it just the way it is. Who knows? The back side of that is just going to be this photo with nothing added. I gave myself a note to leave space for some holes if that's what I chose to do. And there's definitely plenty of space here for holes, and it's not going to encroach upon any of our body parts. Full page photo. I love the full page photos for this particular album. I was really feeling it, and so I embraced it a lot. This particular story starts with a full page photo. It's got 2 3x4 page inserts. I'm sorry, they're not 2 3x4s. One of them is the 4 3x4s, and then one of them is the 2 3x4s and the 4x6. I'm going to add that directly in, and then end the story with another full page photo. I'm not sure if I'm going to add something kind of like right here. Maybe it's one of those little pockets with the card. Maybe it's a big heart. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't have my story completely fleshed out right here. This is good. This right here, I know what I want to talk about, but I haven't actually written the whole story. So anytime I do something like this, you'll see that I've got a whole bunch of dots. So I want to talk about the traffic. I want to talk about how Nick rode his bike. I want to talk about why Ethan wasn't happy, you know, but I didn't actually expand upon that at the moment in which I set this up. Okay, so that story is almost done. I've got another 10x8 photo. I added some text and one of these hearts. This is all going to get printed. I'm not going to do any type of layering physically with any of this. This will all be printed on the photo. Holly on Instagram did this really great 6x8. I think it was either a vellum piece or a transparency insert, and she used a big gold word, and she had a frame, and it was beautiful, and it inspired me to make this. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a 6x8-ish vellum piece of paper, something a little bit thicker. We're going to have a frame attached to the outside with a photo. This is going to be the physical Fa La La gold foil piece. The back side will have the trees from the die cut pack. I have a little fold up. Let's zoom right in on this. I did this little drawing right here that you can see. So these 3 pieces, this story, this quote, and this little collage right here, these are the 3 pieces that are going to be added together to create this little fold up, and it's going to be on the vellum behind, or on the other side of the paper behind where this area is right here. So these are all parts and pieces for a page that I will print all separately, and then I will assemble them together and add them into my album. And then the story ends with another full page photo. I kind of mimicked what I did on the first one. You'll see right here, the most wonderful time of year. It's in the same position, same font as Making Spirits Bright. So if they were to sit next to one another, you'd have the other photo here, you'd have the other text saying right here, and it ends with a heart. So they kind of mirror each other. This most wonderful time of the year is the same font I used here, which is a very similar font as Deck the Halls and Oh What Fun that is in Allie's kit. All right, so behind this is going to be another full page photo, and it's going to be this photo right here of my daughter and the dog. And this isn't any particular thing. It's just a photo that I took of my daughter and our dog. And they have a very sweet relationship that I see every day in multiple ways. So I'm going to use I'm going to create a vellum overlay with the center of this oval cut out. I'm going to foil all of this. If you took the hybrid product play class this year, you'll see that this was part of my lesson, was creating a vellum overlay that was foiled. I'm going to do that very thing right here on this page right here. I just need to add my story. So this joy, I need to see if this is the actual size of the joy that I have from the kit, or if I'm going to print this on vellum and foil it. I'll probably just print it and foil it on the vellum so that I don't have the extra weight and bulk of the joy chipboard that's foiled from the kit. Okay, so when I created this, I did it on top of the photo so that I know that when this oval lands right here, it's showing what I want to show in the photo. That's going to face this page right here. These little hearts are not going to get printed on this page. They're going to get printed separately, and I'm going to fussy cut them out. I might do like a little layering thing with like a word phrase strip or a little gold star. I don't know, who knows. But I am playing around with the idea of adding them on to my printed page. Everything else is going to get printed together. Okay, another full page photo. I didn't really include any story about our Christmas card this year, but when this goes in the album on the left side, I'm going to add the Christmas card adjacent it, and then you're going to flip it over, and then you're going to see this page. So again, this page right here is what's going to be printed in the page protector. This right here is going to be printed as a vellum piece that I'm going to run through my Meek machine, and it's going to have gold foil on it. I don't know if it's going to be in its own page protector that's just before this, and so it's overlaid on it and you'll see it through it, or if I'm going to use washi tape and attach it to the top of this page so it will be like a fold up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. You'll find out. Okay, so this is the back of this page. This is the beginning of a story. I don't have the text finished yet for this particular story. This is going to have an insert of these. This is going to be one side, and this is going to be the other side. I'm going to enlarge it so that it's an outside the page protector insert, and I'm going to use a page attacher to get it into the album. This makes a merry ornament. I'm not going to print it on here when I print this entire page. I'm going to print it separately so that I can fussy cut it out and add it on. I'm not sure that that's really the embellishment I want to put in that spot. I might want to do like another heart cluster. I don't really know, but I dropped that there so that I knew I needed to print that. This faces this 10 by 8 photo. I have created this little like heart collage. It is going to go, I'm going to print it, cut it, and I'm going to attach it right here. I don't know that I'm going to do it inside the page protector, outside the page protector. I'm not really sure, but this is going to print like that. And then this page right here is going to get printed so that I have some things to cut out. And I did it in another size also so that I can, you know, have options. Maybe I put like a big tag right here, and maybe it has a few words, like maybe a story, and maybe it has this attached to it, and maybe it's not this big. I don't know. I'm giving myself some options so that if I make decisions after I have them printed, I have a little bit more to work with. This around here is getting printed so that I can cut it out and attach it to this spot right here in the vellum where it'll directly overlay on this around here. It's sized exactly the same. I just don't want that to be gold foiled. Everything on this page is going to be gold foiled, but the around here green heart, I want to stay green. So that's why it's over here. All right, another full page photo. This is going to be an insert. I just need to type up the story. I'm not sure if I'm going to print the story on vellum and attach it to the physical card that I have because it's got the beautiful gold foiling on it, or if I'm going to do it on a sticker paper. I'm not really sure. But there's going to be a story here on this side. There's probably going to be pattern paper on the other side with like an embellishment, and it's going to face this. But ultimately, this is all from the same story. Last day of school for the middle schoolers and last day of school for my elementary school child. Those are not all my children, only this crazy one here. I've got two nieces who live next door. So this is going to be a physical specialty paper from the specialty paper kit. Maybe it's specialty journal cards, I think is what it's called, but I have it here as a placeholder. Again, you're seeing the same journaling card style. It's used over and over again because I like to do that. It really saves time and I don't have to make lots of decisions. So 4x6, 4x4 page protectors adjacent a 10x8 full page photo. So you guys are totally seeing the pattern, right? Full page photo paired with a divided page protector with some details. So it really served me well, that formula this year. We got a new ornament this year, and I wanted to make sure that from year to year, we all knew who my daughter said represented each one of us in this little family ornament that we have. And this is the story of when she and I went to get this ornament. I still have some text I need to do, and I just dropped this right here, this story image. I'm not going to print that on this page, but I was just saying to myself, well, maybe I want to use the physical piece of that. Where would I put it? How big is it? So that's why this is here. So these are all going to be printed as 3x4s and stuck into the new page protector configuration that Allie and her team came up with this year. Again, you see a very similar card happening right here. Instead of using the line as the divider, I put the little star, have a little bit of text using those mixed alpha images again for the title. Okay, this is going to be the back side of that. I still have some story I need to tell right here. So I have a couple prompting words right here, things to include in my text, my photos, and a couple 3x4 cards that are already done. Let's see, this is going to be an insert, and this is the front of the insert. It's going to be on the right hand side. It's facing this story right here because it's part of those pictures. And then the back side of it is going to be this with a full story about how my son received a letter from Santa in the mail. And again, full page photo paired with some story and some smaller photos. Really working for me this year. Okay, so cookie decorating. I haven't actually put that together yet, but I know that I want to do an insert with this photo right here. I'll probably add a insert in between this photo and this photo so that there's a a clear, transparent, or vellum insert hanging out. Maybe it'll be the best time of the year. Maybe it'll be, I don't know what it's going to be. But I've got some inserts pulled aside that I really like and that I might use. So I'm going to sandwich that in between those two photos. This is the back side of that. It's just some pictures. A picture from Christmas Eve, one of the many walks that I took the children and the dog on during the month of December. This is a good representation. Let's talk about this real quick. So my husband is not a big fan of me constantly taking photos of special moments that are being shared between him and our children. I often get something like, oh, you're ruining the moment, or I don't know, some crazy look or something whenever I'm taking a photo of he and one of our children, like I said, sharing a special moment. So my son made this Christmas tree pine cone for my husband at school. And the evening in which he gave this to my husband, Nick, I chose not to take any photos of their special moment together. I just sat by, I watched the interaction. It was so incredibly sweet. My husband, was so happy about it. My son was so thrilled to share it with him. I didn't take any photos. And afterwards, obviously, my photo-loving self was very upset, but I dealt with it. I was dealing with it in my own way. And I was talking to my son about how I chose not to take any photos. And he was actually quite unhappy with me. He looked at me with this very serious face and said, "You should have asked me. That's not something I can recreate." So that's what I told my story about. I talked a little bit about the moment the two of them had together. I talked a little bit about how I didn't think that they'd want photos taken while the moment was being shared. And I made a very large quote of what my son said and took a photo of the pine cone tree the very next day. And this is representing that story. Okay, so if you forget to take photos or you chose not to, or whatever the reason is, you don't have photos, but you have a story to tell, you can always take a photo afterwards. You can take a photo of something different. You can go back to we went to the movie theater. I'm not actually using this photo, but we went to the movie theater with my, I went to the movie theater with my coworkers as a like Christmas holiday celebration day, and I didn't take any photos. We went and saw Wicked together. It was great. But I wanted a way to visually represent the day in my album. So the very next day, I just popped into that movie theater's parking lot, took a photo of the movie theater from outside, which is what I was planning on doing anyways, but I just didn't. So I have a photo of the movie theater. It's kind of a cool looking movie theater. It's got a big, beautiful Christmas wreath on the outside of it. And I was planning on using that photo to tell the story in my album. It turns out that I'm just going to tell that story with words and I'm not going to use any imagery. But that is how I got a photo that I can use if I wanted to. So it's not always too late to get photos to go with our stories. All right, so now we're popping over to Christmas Eve. This is a full page photo. I just did a photo collage. You can see some of the repeated elements are making an appearance. I just try to keep the same things throughout the whole album, so the whole album feels like it goes together and is one complete package. Now, you know how Allie always does the really cute like red plus symbols with her Posca paint pens? Well, you can do that using even when you're doing things digitally. So I typed up this text. I still have some text I want to add to this story, but in the plus symbols, I highlighted those separately and I made them red. So you can absolutely get that same kind of a look with digital typed up journaling if you're not using pen markers like she does. Okay, so let's see. So we have an insert. I need to add some photos, or I need to add some text still. These are both going to be added physically. These are the vellum pieces. They're going to be added physically into the album. See, another 10 by 8 full page photo. This particular page on Christmas morning, I left text up here on my story. I'm going to probably add a little word phrase strip up here, maybe a star. Maybe the star is going to be here. I'm going to print this frame and the words. Okay, yes, I just paused it. Paused, yeah. Sorry about that. I tried to pause my recording. My son came over to me. He needed something. Anyway, it didn't work the way that I thought, so I went ahead and paused it. So there was a little bit of a audio interruption. Sorry about that. We're almost to the end. All right, so the Christmas morning memories and the frame. I'm going to print those separately so that I can run those through my Meet machine, fussy cut them, and add them back on in the middle of this photo collage right here. I intentionally offset my daughter's photo. As you can see, there's a lot more space in the photo, but I intentionally offset it so that if I choose to put a star right here, it's not going to be overlapping right on her head. Okay, so things maybe that you might want to keep in mind whenever you're designing what your layout looks like, how your stuff is going to go together. If you're adding anything after the fact, what to consider. Where's it going to go? How's it going to overlap? So this is going to be printed separately, foiled, and added back on. Something is going to go right up here in the negative space right here. And this is going to be adjacent a full page photo. Okay, our Christmas day is typically split into like 3 sections. There's the morning when it's just us. There's when our next door neighbors, who happen to be my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and her children, they come over. So that happens. That's like phase 2 of Christmas. And then phase 3 of Christmas is when we gather together later that afternoon for like a more formal Christmas dinner down the street at my parents' house. Yes, we do all live on the same street. It's super convenient. Nobody has to wear real shoes if they don't want to. They could just slip on some house slippers and go from house to house. So this is going to be an insert, roughly 6 by 8, with a page attacher, going to be in between the two 10 by 8 pages. This one right here and this one down here. This family and friends ornament, I'm not going to print it like that. I just dropped it in there to see, did I like that? Did I not like that? I'm still not quite sure if that's what I'm going to put right there, but I like the idea. So I'm going to print the page without the family and friends ornament, and I will be adding that on. I have the vellum pieces from the main kit. I'll add that on if that feels right whenever I get it printed. This is the back of this page, and my son, the entire month of December, has been saying this to me. And it's very reminiscent of the little phase he's going in right now. I think, you know, he's 8, and I think that he is trying to become the young man that he will be, but also continue to be the baby that he once was. So the love is very sweet in place of love. I wrote a little bit about that right here, and I plan on putting a word phrase strip right here, or maybe just a star. I'm not sure, but I left a little bit of space. This entire page is going to be printed as it is and slipped right into my page protector. It is going to face one of those 3x4 6-up page protectors that is new in the album this year. This piece right here is going to get cut into 2 sections. So there'll be a 3x4 up here and 3x4 down here. And then outside the page protector, I'm going to add some type of like circle embellishment. I'm not sure if it's going to be that. It might be something else. But all of this is just going to be printed and slid into cards, or printed as cards and slid into the page protector. On the back side is going to be this. Very similar. This is going to be cut into 2 spots. There's going to be an outside the page protector heart, or I'm sorry, not heart, circle embellishment. We did not take photos at the movie theater, but I wanted to make sure that the experience was documented. My daughter and I went and saw Wicked at the same time that my husband and son went and saw Sonic 3, and it was very convenient. So that was fun, and I wanted to document that. And then we have a couple blank pages here because these are the memories since Christmas. That would be the past couple of days. I do document until the last day in December. So there will be something about, today happens to be the very last day of December. So there will be something about New Year's Eve, possibly. And then we have a couple other just random memories that I want to include in here. So I've dropped in those pages for that. I have a page where I'm going to add some screenshots from my phone. This is just going to be representative of the entire kind of month, the end of November to the end of December. I am going to do a very, very, very last page in my album. It's going to be the last page, so left-hand side, a photo collage. This is inspired by Lisa Varshine, and she did this. I don't know where in her album she's placing hers, but these are all going to be photos from the year, like any special trips we had, or any special days, or special birthdays, or just favorite photos in general, just so looking back on the entire year as a whole. So that is going to be my last page. So when you're looking at my album in this Canva file, this is one of my absolute favorite reasons for using Canva. You can see all the pages. You can see how it's going to flow, how things are going to line up, how do they look together, where your holes are, what you're missing. And then down here at the bottom are all pages that I have messed around with that I may not use for whatever reason, different configurations of pages, different things I wanted to do, different things I tried out that I then just kind of discarded at the bottom, different ideas. And I've either picked from here and brought up into this area, or they just remained on there because once I do the work, I don't want to have to do it again. So instead of deleting the page after I do the work, I just push it down here to the bottom. I add a whole bunch of blank pages at the end of my album, and then that way visually I can see as I'm scrolling through here that when I get to here, when I get to all these blank pages, I know that that's the end of my actual album that I will be printing and putting into the album. So there's roughly 92 pages. So divide that in half. We're going to say 45, 46 pages. That's going to be 46 page protectors, or outside the that's going to be 46 layers. Okay, so I do not use a lot of bulk in my album. I don't like to use foam squares. I don't like to use a lot of dimensional things because Again, the photos are the most important part for me, and I want to include as many as possible without a bulky album. I like lay flat pages, and so in order to get this many page protectors into one single album, I do the majority of the work digitally, and then I just add thin layers on the top, and yeah, and fingers crossed that it doesn't end up too bulky. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up a couple of these spots. I'm going to prep all of this for printing. I'm going to send it out to Persnickety Prints. And once I get my pages back, my printed sheets back, I will start cutting, assembling, adding to my album. But in the meantime, I'm going to prep my album with the page protectors in order. So I'll sit down here at the computer, I'll have my album at the table next to me, and I'll make sure that the first page protector is a 10 by 8 full page. I'll make sure that there's a sticky note saying I'm going to do an outside the page protector. I'm going to put this transparency in after it. Then maybe a note about the circle, and then I'm going to add another 10 by 8 transparency. I'm sorry, 10 by 8 page protector, a 4 by 6, 4 by 4. You get the idea, right? So I'm going to make sure that my page protectors are in place in order in my album, so that when my pictures come back from Persnickety, I can go ahead and slip them all in. I can open up my document here. I can see where I'm going to put everything, and they're going to go into the album a lot quicker. So that helps me kind of do some work while I'm waiting patiently for my photos to get back from the printer. But all the while, I'll be going to work 8 hours a day and commuting 2 hours and living life, and it won't be that terrible to wait for the photos, and the quality is well worth it. So if you have any questions for this very lengthy, long-winded video that I have shared here with you on any of the things that I did, please let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to get back to you as quickly as I can. Thanks so much for hanging in here with me, guys.